Welcome to the new features training for receivables management in Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013. My name is Cheryl Waswick and I will be your presenter today. I'm a Senior Technical Support Engineer on the Microsoft Dynamics GP Application Support Team. The new features for receivables management includes the ability to apply a multi-currency cash receipt, how to add labels to the two user-defined fields in the customer address maintenance window, and the ability to email statements to customers in receivables management. Lesson 1 for receivables management. In this lesson, I will show you how to apply a multi-currency cash receipt to a multi-currency invoice prior to posting the cash receipt. In previous versions, you were only able to apply a cash receipt in the cash receipt window if it was keyed in a functional currency. So let's go to Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013 and I will show you how to apply a multi-currency cash receipt. First, let's look at the open invoices for Aaron Fitz. To navigate to the Transaction Inquiry window, click on Inquiry, Sales, Transaction by Customer. In the Receivable Transaction Inquiry window for Aaron Fitz, notice there are two open sales invoices. The first is for a $100 invoice keyed in the functional currency, which is US dollars, and the second is a $200 invoice keyed in Canadian dollars, which is the multi-currency. To navigate to the Cash Receipt Entry window, click on Transactions, Sales, Cash Receipts. In the Cash Receipts Entry window, the Apply button was grayed out in prior versions if the cash receipt was not keyed in the functional currency. However, in Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013, you are now able to key a cash receipt in a different currency. Notice I've keyed 200 Canadian dollars for Aaron Fitz and the Apply button is still available. I'll go ahead and click on the Apply button. This will open the Apply Sales Documents window. Notice that only one of the open invoices for Aaron Fitz is displayed. The invoice that is in 200 Canadian dollars, the same currency as the cash receipt, is available to apply to. So I'll go ahead and apply the cash receipt to this invoice. All other invoices in different currencies, including the functional currency, are not displayed. So I hope having the ability to apply a cash receipt in a multi-currency is helpful to you so you don't have to do an additional second step to get this cash receipt applied. Lesson 2 for receivables management. In this lesson, I will show you how to add labels to the two user-defined fields in the customer address maintenance window. So let's look at the customer address maintenance window in Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013. To open the customer address maintenance window, click under Cards, Sales, Addresses. Notice the two user-defined fields, user-defined 1 and user-defined 2, in the bottom right-hand side. These fields are not new, however, you were not able in prior versions to add a label to these fields. To add labels to these fields, let's navigate to the Receivables Setup Options window. To do this, click on Tools under Microsoft Dynamics GP, Sales, Setup, Receivables. In the Receivables Management Setup window, click on the Options button at the bottom. This will open the Receivables Setup Options window. Notice the section for the customer address at the bottom where labels can be added to the two user-defined fields. I'll go ahead and enter two sample labels that I'd like to use. I'll do Project for Label 1 and Location for the user-defined Label 2. Click OK to save your changes. Now navigate to the Customer Address Maintenance window. Notice in the Customer Address Maintenance window that the two new labels that I keyed are now visible. I hope that having the ability to put labels on these two user-defined fields will be helpful to you. Lesson 3 for Receivables Management. In this lesson, we'll look at how to email receivable statements to your customers using Word templates. So let's go to Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013 and I'll show you how to do the setup so that you can email statements to your customers. The functionality to send emails using Word templates was added in Microsoft Dynamics GP 2010. So many of you may be already familiar with how to do this. If so, these setup steps will be really easy for you. First, let's enable the customer statement at the company level. To do this, navigate to Tools, Setup, Company, Email Settings. In the Company Email Setup window, click on Sales Series in the bottom left. This will open the Sales Email Setup window. Notice that Customer Statement is at the bottom of the list. Simply mark the checkbox to the left of it to enable the customer statement. This will open up the Message ID field. If you'd like to create a new Message ID, go ahead and key one on the fly. It'll prompt you to create that Message ID. The message setup needs to have a doc type of Customer Statements, and go ahead and put in what you want for the subject and the body of your email. I'm going to go ahead and delete out of this one because I already have one set up that I would like to use. And that's all you need to do in this window, so go ahead and mark OK. The first time you go into the Sales Series window, you may be prompted to enter credentials to log on to the Exchange server. The next step is to enable the customer statement at the vendor level. To do this, navigate to Cards, Sales, Customer. In the Customer Maintenance window, I'll show you how to set up errand fits to receive statements through email. The first step is to click on the Email button in the bottom right-hand corner. This will open the Customer Email Options window, which is basically the same window that we just saw at the company level. So go ahead and mark to enable customer statements, and you'll see that the message ID and the format defaulted in. You can change the format of the attachment that you would like to receive on this customer, but for Word templates, we'll keep it as DOCX. Click OK to save your changes. The second step on the Customer Maintenance window is to add the email address. First, make sure you know what address ID is in the Statement To field. This is the address ID that the statements will send the email to. Second, click on the Internet Addresses icon next to the address ID. This will open the Internet Information window. So you want to make sure that the address ID that you're working with is the same that was in the Statement To on the main Customer Maintenance window. So go ahead and key in an email for your customer in either the To line, the carbon copy line, or the blind carbon copy line. If you have multiple addresses, you can put a semicolon in between them. So after entering the email address, go ahead and click Save. On the Customer Maintenance window, click on the Options button at the bottom. In the Customer Maintenance Options window, I just wanted to show you that the Send Email section in the bottom right is grayed out, so it recognizes that you're going to be using the internet address information. Keep in mind, if you had email addresses here before, they will not automatically update the other window. You still need to go to the Internet Information window and key their address in. After setting your customer up for emails, go ahead and click Save to save your changes. Now I'll show you how to send out the statements. Under Routines, click on Statements. In the Print Receivable Statements windows, I selected a statement ID that I already have set up. The main thing to remember is that the form is set to on blank paper. I have a customer range set up, and I'm going to go ahead and print my Word template statements to screen first, just to show you what they look like. So I'll click Print, save my changes that I made for the printer, and you can see at the top the templates are processing. And there's my Word template for my statement. So you can go ahead and print these out for your own records, or mail them out if you wish. Back on the Print Receivable Statement window, this time I'll go ahead and click the Email button at the top to show you how the emails send. You can see the templates processing at the top and a progress bar in the middle that the emails are being generated. Just let it run. When the emails have completed generating, you will get an email statement report. Be sure to print and review this report. You'll see a status column on the right. You'll see that my first 2 customers were successful. The next 6 were invalid recipients. I did not have email addresses on these customers, so be sure to review this report to see if any emails did not send out. Also note that the emails that sent out should be in your Sent Items folder in Outlook. So make sure to also check your outbox to make sure no emails are stuck in your outbox in Outlook. So now I'd like to show you how to reprint the statements. Under Routines, select Reprint Statements. Notice in the Reprint Statements window that there's not an email button at the top. For the form, I'll go ahead and click on Blank Paper, but there's still no email button at the top. So go ahead and select a statement for Aaron Fitz, and now the email button appears. So it recognizes that these statements were emailed to Aaron Fitz. I'll go ahead and click the email button to regenerate the email for that statement. Again, you'll get an email statement report. Be sure to review it to see if any emails were not successful. You'll see a status out to the right of their name, and there's nothing next to Aaron Fitz here, so that one was successful. Go ahead and close this report. And the last part of the functionality I'd like to show you is the mass update feature to be able to put the customer statement and that message ID on all the customers that you want in a mass update. So go ahead and click on the customer list. In the customer list, you can go ahead and select all your customers or unmark all your customers and just select the customers that you wish to update. So I'll select the first 4. Next, to modify, if I hover over the button here and click on it, I see email settings. So I'll go ahead and bring up the same email settings window that we're used to, but this is to mass update customers. So I'll mark the customer statement, I'll mark the message ID that I want to use, the format type, and click OK. And now that information will be put on those 4 customers. You can see my status bar here shows that 4 succeeded. I can go ahead and print or delete that report. But now all those customers are ready to receive statements through email. So I know this is functionality that many of you were looking forward to, so I hope that you enjoyed hearing about the ability to email statements in Microsoft Dynamics GP 2013. Let's review the new features for receivables management. The first was the ability to key a cash receipt in a multi-currency and apply it to an invoice in the same currency. The second was how to add a label to the 2 user-defined fields in the customer address maintenance window. And the third was how to use the email functionality for Word templates to send receivable statements via email to the customers. Thank you for your time and attention today. I hope that you enjoyed learning about the new features for receivables management.